Hello everyone, Junior D here with a video, a very long overdue video. I just thought to put this mini video up just for something a bit different and try and get the videos rolling again. So it's not a game, it's not retro gaming or anything on this particular vid. This one is inspired by what X-File has been doing lately, Marcus. He's been obviously doing a mixture of videos which I've been enjoying thoroughly, and lovely to see him back. And he's kept saying, why don't you do one, do it? So anyway, I finally got me backside into gear, and I've noticed the videos that he was doing and has been doing. Some of them are to do with movies and his movie collection. Now, I've got a massive set of Blu-rays in the games room, but obviously with streaming, I suppose like most of us, we stream the films, you know, Amazon, Netflix, etc. But after seeing some of his 4K physical releases and the packaging and the job that's been done with the transfer and everything and the great picture and all that, I thought I might start getting one or two every so often. But obviously it's not going to be, I'm not going to get loads. It's going to be upgrading my favourite films from Blu-ray up to 4K. But it'll be like my very favourite ones. So I was looking through Amazon the other day and scrolling through, and I saw this one and I looked at it and the packaging and stuff. It's by Arrow, who were known for, you know, doing really good jobs with their products and the physical releases. And I saw it and I thought, yeah, I'll get this one. So it's one of my favourite horror films, but it's also one of my favourite films. I would probably put it in my top 20 of all time. So without further ado, I will show you which film it is. And it is An American Werewolf in London. Now what I've done, rather than the rigmarole I went through when I revealed the tour plan retro set, messing about with the packaging and struggling because obviously my hands struggle to grip things and everything. So I thought I would get someone to open the package first, and then all I have to do is literally present what's already on the table. So as you can see, beautiful box art, and it kind of tells you all about the movie really in one little poster, which is, it reminds me of the some of the Star Wars posters where they try and fit all the characters in and all the key scenes of the film. I think the guy was called Drew Struzan or something, who did all the famous Star Wars posters. And you can see there's a certain style that he had, and this particular image reminds me of those. So like in the top left hand corner you have the Slaughtered Lamb pub sign, and then you have Brian Glover, famous British actor, God bless him, he's no longer with us. And then we have Jenny Agutter in the top right, who plays an excellent part, very understated, but superb. You can see at the bottom the famous transformation scene, which to this day is still magnificent. I mean, I think this was made in 80 or 81. So, you know, all those years, I mean, what is it, 40 years? And it still holds up. Rick Baker's effects were outstanding. I think the story of that as well, he was supposed to do The Howling, but as you know, Sod's Law would have it, 2 werewolf projects came at once. So he had this, and he also had The Howling, and he had to make a choice. So he said, okay, I'm going to do The American Werewolf. So I think Rob Bottin, I think he was a student of his, he got the job, I think, to do the werewolf creature in The Howling. Now, if that's wrong, please comment. But I'm sure that's the story of how that went. I remember when you had the 2 meteorite films, you had the Armageddon and Deep Impact, and those 2 came along within months of each other. And it was the same with The Howling and American Werewolf. So sometimes the Hollywood studios, they do kind of overlap with their films. And that was one of those cases. But and if you actually watch the transformation scene in The Howling, you can see some similarities. So maybe ideas were passed or ideas learned from Rick Baker, etc. So yeah, so the famous transformation scene, and then the 2 guys in the middle, not the werewolf, but the 2 guys on the left and the right. I didn't know these actors at the time, but I think they do an outstanding job. The rumour was, because John Landis, the director, he made the Blues Brothers, Animal House, etc. And he was a big fan and also worked with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. And even though the script was written in 1969, this film is off the back of Blues Brothers. So when the Blues Brothers were so successful, John Landis was like the hot director then. So he could pick his project that he wanted to do. And obviously with the script being sat on the shelf for 10 years, he'd always wanted to make this film. And obviously just been working with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, he wanted those 2 in the lead role. So I presume Dan Aykroyd would have played David, and I'm sure John Belushi would have had a right go at playing Jack. But to be honest, I mean, I'm sure that would have been great, but I love what we got, so I don't look at that and go, oh, what could have been, because I really don't. I think the 2 guys, David Norton and Griffin Dunn, do a fantastic job. Anyway, so that's the box that it comes in, and on the back you've got all the extras and content, etc. I mean, look at that. There's loads. Can we see how the feature's 97 minutes? I can't see what the extras amount to minutes-wise, but I'm sure it's going to be a long watch. And there's your box for the disc. Inside that box came these cards. So when they're on the moors, when they've heard they've left the slaughtered lamb, and they're hearing the howling, and they know something's going to go down. The transformation scene, when David's, you know, frightened to death and obviously going through horrendous pain with the transformation. By the way, it's the same on the back. There's nothing different on the back or anything. This is one of my favourite scenes, horror scenes, and one of my favourite scenes of all time. The way that this is set up in the London Underground, just the way, the eeriness of how empty it is, and the gentleman, you know, he's just finished work and gets off the train and he's on his way home and he hears this like howl, and he thinks it's children messing about or whatever, but then soon realises that he wish it was children, you know. It's obviously the werewolf, and the way that the first person view of the werewolf chases him down the tunnels of the underground. I mean, don't forget, we see a lot of certain shots a lot nowadays. Cameras can do anything, you can put them anywhere and stuff. But obviously they'd have put that on a dolly, and someone would have been pushing the dolly and chasing the guy down through the underground. But yeah, it's one of the great scenes, and it's holds up. And there's the Piccadilly Circus with the bus driver slams on the brakes and the poor person goes through the window. On the way to the slaughtered lamb, full of hope, little do they know what's coming. And then, I think this is the last card, in the pub, and they ask, can they get some food? There's no food. Show me just tea, because they don't want to have a drink, they only do tea. And you can feel the vibe, you know something bad's going to happen. As soon as they ask about what's the star for on the wall, that's it. And in this scene, see if you can spot a young Rick Mail. He's actually on this card. You can actually see him on this card at the moment, but a young Rick Mail, and he has one line to say, but just thought I'd point that out. And then that's an advert for Arrow, I think. And then unexpectedly, I just thought it was the disc, the box, and the cards, but it's not. You get a booklet, and it's not just like a little pamphlet thing. It's a really well put together book. I'm gonna have a look at that later. But yeah, proper little read. I presume it's like production notes and maybe how the film got made, or maybe how certain scenes were filmed or developed. But yeah, that looks really cool. There they go about the restoration, explaining how they did it. So I'll be looking at that. And then lastly, again, didn't know this came with it. It's a poster for the movie. How about that? So there's the poster. Now, if you know, mention in the comments, but was this poster originally like part of promotion back then, or is it, do you think it's like a neo-retro style where a modern artist has, you know, been asked to do a poster for American Werewolf and this is their interpretation? If you know if it's the original image or not, please let me know. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I've got a feeling it's a neo-retro. I think it's someone's been commissioned to do this, either for the for the 4K. I think that would be because the only images I can remember from back then are like the one with the side profile of the werewolf and the Big Ben. I can't remember any other. I can't remember this image anyway, but I might be wrong, because I know they put many different images out there and posters, especially in different countries. So, and then on the back it's just, again, really cool, but it's the cover of the box. So yeah, so that's it. I just thought I'd share that, especially for Marcus, because he's been putting the videos out, so it's about time I put one out. So hopefully my next one will be gaming wise. I've got a few little bits and pieces that I have, you know, obviously it's been that long since I've done a video, but I've got some interesting things that you might be interested in and might like, so hopefully I'll get that going. Okay, thanks very much for watching, very much appreciated. Everyone take care. Thank you.